Thanks for tuning in. My name's Todd with Todd's Car Service, and I'm going to try to answer a question that I get asked all the time. Todd, why should I use your service versus like Uber? And most of us, if we travel a lot, know about Uber. A couple of things about Uber. First off, you're not getting into a vehicle with a professional driver unless you select Uber Black, which is their most expensive part of their service. Everything from Uber Select all the way down to, of course, Uber X, including Uber XL, which is their SUV option, affordable SUV option. Those drivers are part-time typically. Now, there are a few hardcore drivers out there that are trying to make a living doing it full-time, but most of them are part-time drivers. A lot of them have full-time jobs someplace else, and they use Uber to supplement their income. Even Uber on their advertising, if you've seen one of their ads online, or on the TV set even these days, because they're running out of drivers, honestly, you'll see that they really push the whole, hey, this is your schedule, you work when you want to work kind of thing.
I want to work part-time while I put myself through school.
I want the freedom to follow my passion and still earn a good living.
That's not what you get when you order a ride from us online or give me a call and we get you set up. The driver that shows up is going to be state certified. They're actually going to have a DOT medical, which means they've been in front of a doctor that certifies them safe to drive. They don't have a medical condition that could cause you a problem from point A to point B. And we also have to submit our driving records to our insurance companies. Uber has kind of a blanket policy for their everyday drivers. Not Uber Black. Those guys, again, are professional drivers. But the guys that kind of do it part-time, they have kind of a blanket insurance policy. And I'm not going to say whether it's great or not great, but I can tell you this. The insurance that I have to carry on my drivers, on my vehicles, is far superior. It's an independent company. That's what they do. And that's what I have for my company. I have to do it because of liability. So when you get into our vehicle, not only is the driver going to be safe, but also the vehicles are going to be safe. I have to submit a motor vehicle record to my insurance company before I can actually have a driver drive one of my vehicles. Of course, their thinking is, hey, look, we want to make sure this guy has a clean driving record before he gets behind the wheel of anything that we're insuring. So they're very, very nitpicky when it comes to who goes on the policy. So there's a bunch of different things that we have to go through as professional drivers, as a professional driving company, transportation company, that Uber drivers just don't have to do. And a lot of my clients are fascinated by the fact that Uber, as a company, you don't even have to meet anybody from Uber if you want to be a driver. You can literally do everything online. You can submit everything through their website, and they send you a little note in your email address. Hey, congratulations, download the app. And you turn the app on, you get in your car, and you go and you do your thing. I mean, that's literally the amount that they go through, the testing that they go through in order to certify a driver. Now, part of that process is a background check. You have to kind of put in some information into their website so they can do some type of background check. I do background checks as well on all of our guys. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that in order to pick up at the airport with all the TSA stuff, they put us as drivers, because we're conducting business on the airport property, through the grinder. Stuff that you would never, in your wildest dreams, think you would have to go through just to work, just to pick up somebody at the airport. We have to have a federal fingerprint background check. It's crazy. And Uber really doesn't have to do any of that. Now, things are changing, I think, for the worse. They are lightening it up a little bit for us guys, the professional drivers, on some levels, but we are vetted very hard. So when you get into our vehicles, you know that the driver is going to be 100% professional, especially if you hire us. I interview every driver, and I don't hire everybody. As a matter of fact, out of every 10 interviews, I usually tell 9 of them, I'm sorry, but it's just, you don't meet our standards. So 1 out of every 10. So I'm very picky when it comes to that. And really, it's because it's my business. I do a lot of the drives myself. You'll see my face probably if you use this quite often. But the drivers that I do employ, they are top notch. I'm not going to risk the reputation of my company by putting somebody in a vehicle with a client that isn't up to my standards. It's just that simple. So there, I think I might have answered your question. Professional versus part-time guys. And there's a lot that separates those two things. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to give me a jingle. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. I personally, and I have nothing against Uber, but I personally would never put my wife or my kids or anybody into an Uber car, because once you're in that vehicle, you're trapped. You're 100% trapped. So you might look at the vehicle and go, whoa, okay, I'm not 100% sure about this, but get in anyway, hoping that everything's going to turn out okay. And then once that driver puts that vehicle in drive and he starts going down the road, you are literally trapped inside that vehicle until he stops and you can make a safe exit. That's scary if you think about it. So I would never put my family into an Uber just because of that. I want to know that everything is professional and everybody has been vetted, everybody is safe. But again, there's some people out there, I have clients that use Uber as well. So that's just speaking from my own personal perspective. But if you have any other questions, please, like I said, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. Until the next video, bye-bye.